Often people are curious how they can apply many of the embodiment practices that you'll learn in this series or on one of my courses throughout their day. So what I'm going to do is just talk you through a day in their life. It's basically a day in my life. Most of these I'm actually doing, and there's a few others that might be slightly different for different people, so I'll get some variations. I wake up in the morning like everybody else, my alarm clock or the radio goes off. Often I have a little stretch, feel in my body, I'll sit at the end of the bed and just kind of really land in my body from being in the dream world. I might take a few chest breaths, and these are ways to breathe to energize myself. Particularly if I'm sleepy, I find myself not want to get out of bed. A few of those kind of yang breaths can really help. I might center myself while I brush my teeth, again, feeling my feet on the floor. I might do a little bit of mindfulness practice while eating my breakfast, just to bring that awareness. Normally I do some meditation in the mornings, the vast majority of mornings. If I have to get up really early to go to a job, I might actually do it on sitting on the train, but normally I'm just sitting on the floor of my house. And I find that builds some awareness for the rest of the day. Is a really good way to start the day. Often before that, if I'm at home, I do the embodiment kata that I'll show you, the embodiment form, a few movements to set myself up, to remind myself of the things that I know. A lot of this work is about remembering, so having a daily practice like that, even for 5-10 minutes, can really help you remember the embodied work. And I just find that just sets up my day really well. My day goes so much better when I do the embodied practices and the meditation at the beginning of the day to raise my level of self-awareness, because everything else is built on that. But the way to work is also another opportunity to get into the best state you possibly can for whatever you're doing. Now, depending on your job, that's going to be slightly different. It may need to be more yin or more yang, as we'll explore. For me, just walking in a slightly different way, in a bit more of a determined way or a bit more of a relaxed way, slowing down when I'm rushing, that can be really helpful. If I'm getting the bus, I just can stand at the bus stop, do a quick bit of centering, quick bit of body awareness, work on my posture a little bit at the bus stop. If I'm driving, you can do sitting in the car and do some centering. Obviously, don't try and do that with your eyes closed while you're driving, but before you head off, it can be a really nice pause just to stop, notice yourself, yeah. Now, in terms of at work, I have days where I'm presenting, and in that instance, I'm looking at a lot of the work we do on impact and influence later in this video, like how I'm coming across, how I land, and how I connect with the people I'm working with. There's different embodiment techniques around that. If I'm having an admin day, it's basically an office job some of my days, so I'll be at a computer, looking at my posture on the computer, making sure I keep some body awareness throughout the day, shifting my state with movements. Do I need to be moved to be more creative or more disciplined, more rigorous? Like, what is the task that I'm doing? And I have little movements, both as on the computer, sat there, but also little breaks to get back in my body and to get in whatever state I need to be in. If I know there's something difficult coming up, maybe like a difficult phone call or a pitch to a client, I'll almost certainly take a couple of moments to do a bit of centering before I pick up the phone, for example. If you have appraisals or other kinds of hard conversations, that little moment to center can be really helpful. And when you're working in an office, you can snatch little moments, like when you're waiting for the kettle to boil or when you're standing by the photocopier. Rather than just daydreaming or texting, you can actually spend a moment to use that to get back into your body. Other things I might need to do at work, connecting to my values through my body. If I'm getting a bit detail oriented, I'm forgetting to see the big picture of my work, and that can be quite, when that happens, I feel tired or discouraged. Why am I doing this? Why does that matter? What am I serving? Reconnecting to that through the body can be really useful. If I get stuck creatively, I might need to do some kind of free movement to let the ideas flow. If I have a difficult conversation, I might kind of shake that off and just let it go. Particularly at the end of the day, walking home from work, coming home from work, to shift modes is really important for a lot of people. How do you leave work behind and have some boundaries with home? In one way for me is to walk differently, to shake something out. I often change my clothes as well and use other tricks like that. But the embodied techniques can really help to leave work at work and then go into a different mode for your family or your partner or whoever it is. So in terms of home life, when I've been living with a partner, I found it very helpful to have embodied practices to come back to myself, to connect with them, to change modes. If we were in an argument, for example, and if I was too yang or too yin, the different modes we'll explore. Having some versatility is really useful around conflict, around like connecting and relating better. Again, how to wake myself up, how to relax myself in the evening. Often it's common in the evening I do a little bit of stretching, something to get back into my body there as well. Maybe a last little meditate before I go to bed, just to kind of bookend the day with something really healthy, relaxing and positive.